Hey guys, and welcome to my tutorial for the Parrot and how to set it up with an RC radio. First thing you need is obviously the Parrot and you don't need the wings for that. You just take the body, and what you do first is just open it up. Alright, so what you're going to see here is that over there is one free port, and this is where we're going to be plugging the receiver from the RC remote controller. In my case, I'm using the Acro MX12. You gotta make sure that your receiver or controller all in all is compatible with SUMD or some other that is letting you use one port for like 6 channels. So let's just print out one receiver. Oh man, 3D printers sure come in handy these days. Alright, with the cable, that's nice. So what you're wanting to do now is to take the receiver and buy a male-to-male plug for it. So, which is male on this side and male on this side, and preferably it is rather short. So you just plug this into your SUMD port on your receiver, and then you plug this one into the Parrot, just like that. And the next thing you need is the battery. Let me just print another one. Alright, here it is. You just take the battery, and I'll just put it in like usual, and plug it in as well. And you'll see this thing won't boot up initially. You have to start it, and this thing isn't getting any power yet. You have to start the Parrot to give this thing some juice. Right, let's do that, and I'm also going to switch on my remote. Okay, now I'm connected, and as you can see, if you're in the right mode and I have everything set up, I'll talk you through it. You can use rudder and you can use elevator. What won't work is motor, obviously, and I'd recommend you to, oh, you didn't even see that. What doesn't work is the engine, and I'd recommend you to not have the prop on it while you're doing all this stuff, otherwise you get your fingers cut or something. I don't want that. Alright, so if this is working like here, so you use the ailerons, and the ailerons are working in, is it ailerons? Yeah, if you use, if this already corresponds, then you're done. You can use it like that, but most likely it won't be. So that's where another thing comes in handy. That's where you need your phone. Okay, so I'm taking this, and you have to start the app, the FreeFlight Pro app. I hope you can see well. And you're going to want to connect with the drone. I'll do that right now. Alright, so when you're connected with the phone, you'll see that everything works just fine. You don't need this controller anymore to fly. You can just put it away, but it comes in handy. If you click on this controller item up there, you'll see that a setup page comes up where you can see the different inputs, and what you can do is assign different channels to it. You also can use these. My transmitter only features 6 channels, so I can't use those two. But yeah, one thing you have to make sure is to put the one on the lowest. This is where you want to put like a 3-position switch. So you can switch between completely manual flight with this remote, which is the most plus section on here, or you can switch to the mid section, which would be letting you use this remote just like you did with the old remote, so everything is stabilized. You can use land and start functions, and yeah, this works. Or you put it up to the top, or in the app it should show the most to the minus, and this means that you are now able to use this remote. Just in case you wanted to use it, you could now use this remote. I'd recommend you to reset everything just as you start up, and you don't flip any channels, because this only would result in a pretty severe bug, which I think Parrot hasn't fixed yet. So when you switch modes, that the input will change according to which mode you're in. So I think this reversal only switches in one mode, and if you change to the other mode, it also switches. And yeah, just switch channels on the controller here and don't do anything here other than like calibrating it. So that's my recommendation, and you'll have to figure this maybe out. It might differ from any remote. So this is like the main work you have to do. Alright, and if you have had everything set up and you wonder, okay, why isn't this stick working? I want to throttle up. This only works when the disco has GPS. So it took me quite a while to figure this out. If it's blinking blue, it doesn't have GPS, and if it's blinking green, I guess, it has GPS, and then you can use the motor. Other than that, don't worry about this one. Like, of course, it's poorly translated. The throttle, zero should be zero on here. And also, I mean, I can just tell you the values. Roll, if you put it to the right, this thing should move to the right without flipping any channels here. Remember that. The second one, I think it's pitch. If you pull down, the value should go up to plus. Same with what's that? The third option. Yeah, left should be minus, right should be plus. Start and landing. You want to switch that to a toggle switch, so a switch where you just click it once and don't hold it. So you just click that once to just normally start or fly, just like the normal start or landing button on your usual remote. That works fine as well. And yeah, that's mostly it with the software. You can try it out. What I really recommend is you trim it like mostly visual, because in flight it's really, at least for me, it was really hard to trim it. So I usually went into manual flight, let it maybe drop down in one direction, flipped it back up to automatic, and then did a couple of trims. And what you also don't want to forget is, if you trim on your remote and you switch modes, most likely your remote will think the trim is correct. So what you want to do is you put in the trims, and after that you're going to calibrate the remote again, because the values you're calibrating on the software aren't affecting the Parrot disco in the most manual mode. If you change anything here and switch to the other mode and you calibrate something, it will always forget it. So I'd recommend it to trim it out, make everything work, and then again calibrate these sticks. So yeah, because the calibration in the app only affects the assisted flight, so the neutral flight position mode, which is using this remote like the other Parrot remote. I hope that was understandable. Alright, and what you want to do with this thing is probably mount it somewhere where it's not getting in the way, and you don't want to have these antennas too close to the antennas on here, because most likely you're using a 2.4 GHz receiver, and those could interfere with each other. I've had mine laying out here and put it way in the back. As you can see, that worked rather fine. I mean, I didn't have any connection issues, but I didn't fly out too far. You see the antennas are just up here in the front. Yep, I think that's mostly it. You can still use this remote while you're flying. I'd recommend to do so for the first few times, and make sure you have your mode switch, so you can easily toggle it back to the other remote, which would be the minus position on the switch in your app. Which is really helpful, because if you're struggling somehow, you can just flick it back. It will start circling until you give it some input with the original Parrot remote. Yeah. I think that's it. If you have any questions, put it in the comments, and hope you have a good flight. Bye.